What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 742 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by Shane Sparks, Ben Funky Askren, and JD Raider. And I am going to fight Ben Askren. It's happening. We have been yelling at each other. JD's been yelling at Ben. Ben's been yelling at us. He hates our ranking.
No, I don't hate your ranking. I hate a singular ranking.
Penn
singular.
State Ben is riding hard for Drew Hildebrandt. And
it's not just Hildebrandt. It's not just Hildebrandt anymore, because here's what I recognized last night. It's Hildebrandt and Cardinal. You guys have them both down at as either 11 and 12 or 10 and 11. Here's my argument. Well, listen to me out here. They both placed in NCAAs last year. Both of them are undefeated this year. Yes, they do not. Neither of them have a lot of matches. Your moving of Mastro Giovanni all the way up to number 5 after a very subpar NCAA championships and Big 12s. He got beat 7-1 by killing Cardinal at Big 12s last year. Is based on one win over Patrick McKee. Patrick McKee's like a roller coaster. We don't know what we're going to get out of him. And we're moving Mastro Giovanni to 5 over one win. He didn't beat anyone else good. It's ridiculous. It's so simple. Just move those two, Hildebrandt and Cardinal, up. And when they take an L, if you want to say they're on thin ice because they don't have huge wins, move them down. I'm happy. But move them up for now.
No. Yeah, I mean, you're citing Big 12 results, Big 12 championships results.
Guys, they're both undefeated this year, 3-0 and 6-0.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Mastro's got one win over McKee. He got whooped by these two last year,
and he probably got whooped by McKee last year.
No. Mastro's got one win over McKee. You can't, again, you guys are trying to use McKee he's like what's that Kevin Spacey thing where he's connected everybody. He is connected everybody, but you can't use him to judge. He is not, guys. He's not an accurate ruler. He's not 12 inches. Sometimes he's 6, sometimes he's 18, and you're trying to use him to measure stuff, and it just doesn't work out. You would be a terrible carpenter. Stuff would be all crooked in your house because you're using Patrick McKee to measure stuff. You would think that Pat McKee was going to the Northwest Kansas Open and losing to guys there. I mean, he lost to another All-American in Barnett, and he lost in the craziest way to D'Agostino. Other than that, he's been pretty good, other than the Mastro loss, which is proven to be a pretty good loss to have. No, who is Mastro beat this year?
McKee, he beat Prada. Manchio.
Prada has not been good this year, guys. Prada has not been good this year.
Okay.
And he's undefeated, but here's the problem. He didn't start as high. Because he got his butt kicked at NCAAs last year. Listen, I don't know what happened to him, but you guys have a habit of not counting medical defaults or medical things, even when the matches started against people. So I don't know why you're going to start now.
We're not counting it against him. It's just you don't get credit for it.
Okay, that's fine. He doesn't need credit because he placed in the NCAAs last year. And your guy Mastro took all kinds of L's last year. Mastro, he's got one good win, a singular good win, which is McKee.
All right, this is going to be completely circular for a half hour if I don't stop it. We're going to say
stop it. Just move him up.
You're going to say it's one win, and literally we just did like this 5 minutes all over again.
Give me the login. I'll change it for you, and then we'll be satisfied.
You need to go on Who's Number One the show with Spay and yell at him. And
well, none of these guys are number one. They're just should be ranked a little differently where they're at.
Okay,
so I don't know if that'd be appropriate.
All right, great start. So we got Shane on here. He can restore some order to this show. Shane, where are you at? Are you going to Michigan this week? You better.
I am not. Oh my God. Originally I was, but we're going to be doing it out of the studio, which is fine. That's okay.
What does that mean? That's not COVID related, is it?
Yeah. It's all COVID related, right? I mean,
is Michigan getting squirrely? My question is
Michigan's so squirrely?
Getting squirrely because they got NCAAs.
Yeah, we need a backup location ASAP.
Yeah, I kind of like that take, Ben. No, they're just doing this precautionary. It has nothing to do with it's that simple. Simple.
Okay. Good.
I don't like it. I don't like it. We need a backup location.
Nope. I've not heard one thing to be concerned.
All right, good.
But as we know, that can change, and might change by the time we get off of here. Knock on wood. So can't wait though. A couple of big weeks coming up,
dude. Friday is insane.
Yeah, it is.
You've got Ohio State versus Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, Virginia Tech, NC State, among other really, really awesome duels.
Isn't that great for wrestling? I mean, you got 3 big-time duels in prime time, basically. Like, it's fantastic. I mean, the more wrestling, the better. I've always said that. Have it on 6 networks. That's fine. It's great. And if they're all on at the same time, that's okay, too. I mean, look at the NFL. They got a block of games at 1 Eastern, a block of games at around that 4 o'clock Eastern time. It is what it is. It's awesome. It's great. Who would have ever – I mean, what a good problem to have, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's great. It is very great. What are your thoughts on this 133 situation for the Hawkeyes with DeSanto and Shriver and
Shane was in Iowa, so he needs to needs to know the dirt.
But I have no idea. I have no idea. Here's what I do think, guys. And again, I don't know. I'm speculating. My 11-year-old daughter has as much info as I do. Here's what I do think. I do not think Iowa can win the national title without Austin DeSanto. I mean, Mr. Obvious, right? But and for that reason, it'd be my belief, perhaps, that he's got more rope, right? I mean, because of this, timing is everything, and based on the timing of where Iowa is right now in their quest for another team title, you would think he's got. If there is any kind of issue, I would think he'd be given more rope. That's my only thought on it. If that's the case, and maybe it's not. Maybe
what do you mean by giving more rope exactly?
Well, if it's disciplinary,
if it's disciplinary, which
disciplinary. I thought we were talking injuries.
But if it's injury wise, I would say this too. I've never seen. We did the match with him in Minnesota, and I've never seen Austin DeSanto shut down after 3 minutes. I've never seen that. So that makes me think, okay, if somebody said he was injured or has any kind of a health issue, that would make perfect sense to me too. So I have no idea. I mean, you can look. You would think it's either one of those 2 scenarios, and it may or may not be. I mean, I just look at this stuff as a fan. I'm just like, oh, I wonder what this is. But I don't know. But I expect I will say this. I'd be very surprised if he was not wrestling for the Hawkeyes at the Big Tens. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I feel similarly. One thing that's interesting that maybe we forget, but when he initially was like, I'm out at Drexel, I want to transfer, and he was talking to other teams, one of the big things they were talking about was that he wanted to go up. That was one of the things. He wants to go 41. He wants to go 41, and he fit well at Iowa at 33, and he went there. But I wonder if that is a factor, if this weight cut over time.
Really?
I think
now it's year 5.
Exactly.
That's what I would. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Point. I feel like, I mean, okay, so I guess here would be my evidence to the counterpoint would be like, usually when people have weight cutting issues, specifically with duels, there's up and down performances because sometimes the weight cuts go good and sometimes the weight cuts don't go so well. And we haven't really seen that, maybe except for this year out of Austin DeSanto. But why would he have? I mean, who grows between year 4 and year 5? We didn't see any evidence of this last year. So, lots of times I think when kids come into college, so like his true freshman year, they have this idea of, oh, I'm going to keep growing. I'm not done yet. I'm going to get bigger. And then obviously year 2, year 3, year 4 happen, and you settle into wherever you're at. You realize, hey, actually, I'm done growing. I'm only going to be 5'4" or whatever it is. And then it's just there,
Yeah, because the points, that is a real good point, Ben. I mean, that guy is pedal to the metal, high octane all the time. I mean, he puts 20 points on the board fairly consistently. I mean, it's so, yeah, I mean, I hope we see him back just because I think he's, a lot of horsepower, and they need him at 133. Like we've talked about before, he's, we got in those tiers. He's right in the mix. What is it? DeSanto Island, you guys call it?
Yeah.
And I think that's real fair.
One thing to remember, Ben, is how many times did he compete off an hour weigh-in last year? 4?
I will look it up.
5 duels. He had 5 duels, maybe with an hour weigh-in. So it's a much smaller sample size for him to have issues with. And then how many of those matches were even
5? Yeah.
Competitive? Lucas Bird was the toughest one, and he beat him up pretty good.
Yes.
18-6, and then ended up only beating him by 1 at Big Tens. And Big Tens really 4-1 over Schameling and 5-4 over Bird. We were kind of, I remember after Big Tens being like, DeSanto didn't look amazing here.
Yeah, but what
he looked good at NCAAs.
How long is the semifinal weigh-in at Big 12s? Is it our Big 10s? Is it after? Is that
semis
the
are
night
at night,
or the next morning?
Aren't semis in the evening, Shane? I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
Semis are at night. Yep.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be close to weigh-ins.
No. That's my point. Is we haven't seen we have not seen a lot of. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity to look bad off the scale, and it's all speculation too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but the idea. This isn't Ethan Lezak making weight all from November to March. Last year basically was a fraction of a season, and this year, he hasn't really faced the rigor. And when he has, remember, he didn't look great against a Tisov of Iowa State. He beat him 6-4, 8-4 over his teammate Shriver, and then the Glevo.
That wouldn't have been close to a weigh. The Shriver one wasn't close to a weigh because that was the end of the day.
That doesn't mean that you wouldn't have a bad result. Because
I don't know. When I think of guys cutting weight, usually by the evening, they're generally wrestling pretty well compared to what their level is, and the poor performances due to weight cutting come early, usually.
Earlier, yes, but a bad weight cut, you could still be very bad in the evening too. Like there've been coaches have told me that, because I thought like you, it was just right off the scale, and then obviously the further you get away from the weigh-in, the better you will be recovered.
Yeah.
But there's still can be some lingering effects of a bad cut.
Guys, can I ask a question? Excuse my ignorance on this. I've never really thought about this until right now. What is a bad weight cut? Like what are a couple things that really separate, Ben, a good weight cut from a bad weight cut?
Well, I mean, as far as college wrestling is going, it's not like, say, a UFC or international level where you're doing, I don't know, say 4 to 6 weigh-ins per year, right? You're doing essentially 18 weigh-ins over the course of 3.5, 4 months. So generally your weight should be pretty close. But I know, like, say, for example, I really only had one bad weight cut because I was super disciplined. And I went home over Christmas and got a little heavier, right? So now instead of being a lean 177 going 174, now I'm 181, 182, and that extra, say, 3 to 5 pounds of water weight you got to work off, and it takes an hour and a half extra. I mean, that's right. You have to do something to get it off. You're not doing nothing. So you're running, or you're on the bike, or you're wrestling extra, and then you got to go compete, right? It's not like, hey, you did it and now you get to chill out. It's
sure.
Like you do it and now you got to go wrestle an hour or two later when you just did an extra, instead of usually your 30 to 45 minute routine to get the weight off. Now it's 2 hours or a little over 2 hours. And then you got to go turn around and wrestle like that. You're just not feeling as good as you should be.
So are most guys ideally within about 3 to 5 pounds? Is that ideal? Would you say for most?
Yeah. If you're cutting more weight than that and you're wrestling it out, obviously if we're talking off-season weight, it's way different, but we're talking in-season weight and you're cutting more than 3 to 5 pounds on a really regular basis. Now that might mean you might wrestle Sunday and then Monday you come in and maybe you're 10 pounds over, because you pounded a bunch of food on Sunday night, but then over the course of the week, you're going to get smaller again. And then say Friday, you wrestle Friday again, right? You're going to be sweating, I don't know, probably 3 to 5 pounds off. So something to that effect.
Okay.
But when it gets more than that, that becomes an issue.
So, and isn't one of the big issues with the weight cut when you see the adverse, the amount of time that you are dehydrated, the longer that is, the worse you're going to recover, the worse you're going to perform. So if you're sauning and doing all this stuff, dehydration for hours and hours, that's going to have a bigger impact then. I remember, I think it was the Missouri NC State duel at NC State. This was probably like 2016 or so. And Missouri comes in to the wrestling room. It's like an hour and a half before weigh-ins, maybe an hour. They come in bundled up, hard practice, and immediately get on the scale. And they're like, we come in like 5 or 6 pounds over. We lose it all in this practice. We get right on the scale, make weight, recover, and wrestle. And it's just like almost like the competition's a continuation of that practice. So I think a lot of times they are coming in big. They'll eat a big breakfast or whatever, cut it all off in one hard, intense practice, and then immediately make weight and recover afterwards.
Yeah, and so obviously for some guys, I mean, like Jaden Cox obviously could do a 5 to 6. I don't think a lot of those guys, maybe they might be exaggerating. I don't think a lot of those dudes are doing 5 to 6 pounds. I think it's 2, 3, maybe 4, something like that. And if you're a really hard sweater, maybe it's more. But a lot of people, maybe not as much.
Yeah, but everyone is coming into that practice. Well over, pounds over, and They work it off there.
Because you always want to be, I heard a story once. I think it was, I want to get my facts straight on this. I thought I heard a story once about Nick Simmons. Maybe it was the World Championship, something like that, where he like woke up in the morning and he was like right on, or maybe even a pound under. And his coach was like, we're in trouble. Like you want to be, a couple pounds over when you wake up. Is that fair too? Like you don't want to be too small.
I don't know. I don't hate, like, listen, every once in a while, I remember, hey, if we're getting too much in the weeds on weight cutting, we can get off this topic. I remember I had to room with Matt Pell. So, cause we were 74, 84, and Matt Pell, if you remember, he was 157 as a red shirt. He couldn't beat Kenny Burleson. He couldn't beat Tyron Woodley. He couldn't beat me. He went all the way to 184. And I remember every morning we were on a trip, he'd wake up and he'd take a piss, and it would last so long. I'd be like, shoot, if I could piss that much, I'd be on weight right now, And so if I woke up and some days you get lucky, right? Some days it's 2 pounds and I gotta go cut it. Some days it's half a pound. You wake up in half a pound, you're like, yes, I barely got to do anything, Sometimes it's 2 pounds, like, God damn it, I gotta grind this one out, And but I was thinking, if I could pee that much, I would be on weight right now, every single time.
I think the weight cutting stuff's fascinating, especially Ben. You've done it at a high level for high level competition, so I think it's interesting.
So, but no, I think listen. I don't know DeSanto. Maybe he finally grew. Some people do when they're 22, but it is very rare. Usually that's like a first year, second year thing, and by the time the kids get past that, they know what weight class they're supposed to be, and they figure it out. Or the other or they're being jammed into a spot in the lineup at which they shouldn't be, but they are because of the way the lineup is constructed. And the issue's been persistent for many years.
Yeah, I hope we see him soon. I hope he comes back soon. I miss him.
Yeah.
Jaden didn't wrestle in the duel. Maybe Jaden hurt, Jaden out. Santa moving up.
What's up with Jaden? Shane, what's your insight on that?
So the speculation was, I think it might have been a Cody Goodwin article that he said that maybe it was a finger against Purdue. Maybe, that's they keep it pretty quiet there. It's pretty. They keep it pretty tight. And if I'm on both sides of the coin on this one because I want to know it, but at the same time, I'll be honest. If I was a coach, it's kind of like family stuff. I probably wouldn't say much. It stays within the family. We worry about ourselves, and that's about it. So I understand both sides of it, but Tom's always pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm. No question. Okay. We got new Hodge rankings from young JD. JD does these rankings. I'll be curious what Ben thinks about these.
Hold on.
Hildebrand is not in these rankings.
Oh man, I lost my link. Hold on. Now I gotta give me 2 seconds here. All right, boom, I'm there. I
apologize in advance. You probably won't agree with this one either, Ben.
Yeah. So we got
how
Gable,
could you move
Keegan,
Gable up? How rude.
Hold on, let me read it. Gable, Keegan, Mason, Sebastian Rivera, Aaron Brooks, Carr, Fix, Starachi, Yanni, Wick, rounding out the top 10.
Those are cool. You did those, GD?
Yes, I did.
I don't really see any issue.
Those
I know
really
Gable's gonna. So obviously, in order for Keegan to win,
he did jump Keegan ahead of Gable in the last update when Gable only had 2 matches. Yeah. But
so Keegan would have to continue doing what he's doing at a very high rate, and Gable would have to have a couple like decisions. Gable ain't gonna lose, right? But he would have to have a couple, like maybe if he has a 5-3 over Mason Paris and 7-4 over Kirk Fleet, it would open the door. But yeah,
I'm very curious
Only
if
one
Gable
way for
will.
Keegan to win. He's got to bump up to heavy and take him out. Surefire way.
there we go.
I didn't think Gable Steveson could impress me more. Like it's like I don't think there's anything he can do. And
There's
then
been
he
a
goes
couple
out this
times where he
Sunday
could have gotten a
puts
couple more
40 points.
takedowns.
He puts 40 points on the board the other day, and I'm like, this guy is. I mean, when he goes to the, you guys are a little bit younger than I am, but when I used to watch WWF in the mid '80s, you'd have guys that were from parts unknown. When Gable Steveson goes to WWE, he should be from parts unknown because
we know where he's from.
This guy is
Apple
from
Valley.
another world. From another, I can't believe there are people out there that still argue that he's not the greatest heavyweight of all time. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time, and he's putting himself in the conversation of greatest wrestlers ever, period, any weight class.
Ooh,
in
I
power.
don't
A lot of
know,
people in New
Shane,
Jersey are
that's
going to be mad at you.
In the conversation.
Well,
He is the greatest heavyweight. That's not even, I don't even.
Are we talking
debate
about who are you talking about? Are you talking about Bruce Baumgartner, Brad Key, or who are you talking about?
Yeah, that's who Bracky's talking about.
Yes, Bracky.
Where's Bracky?
This was phenomenal.
Where's Bracky? Oh, I
Morgantown?
called JD Bracky. I said,
Yes.
did I say?
I'm like, is Bracky in some chat?
I'm like, where's Bracky at?
Gone it, Bracky. Bracky the quitter, we call him.
Okay, so Bruce Baumgartner. Yeah, I mean, I don't totally disagree with Shane on this one. I think Gable's in
Both guys in their primes. Here's my
course.
argument. Both
Any
guys in their
newer
primes.
wrestler.
Gable beats him.
Gable wins.
Gable wins. And that's no disrespect to Bruce. It is what it is. Bruce is a legend. He's
It's the
more
evolution of
accomplished,
any
he's more
sport.
credentialed. But when it comes, here's how I always argue Gable. If we're playing kickball or playing some game and you take forget kickball, forget I said that. You got to do, you're a captain of a dual meet team and you're picking teams, and every wrestler that's ever wrestled is up against the school, the school getting ready to get picked. Gable Stevenson's getting picked quick. He's getting picked real quick. Like probably top 3 picks ever. He's getting picked.
So the Gable argument is interesting because it's about apex versus career, right? He's not going to have the best career.
No, he's not.
He's going to be a 2-time champ.
But we know what we're talking about here. It's Apex.
Yeah, at his height. My thing is when we put him in the GOAT conversation, I mean, for heavyweight, I think
Simple.
Stephen Neal is probably the one that you could
Yeah.
say.
We're talking about American heavyweights, correct?
Which, yes. But yeah, so yeah, I don't think there's anyone really in the conversation with Gable for that. But overall, you got to remember, Jordan Burroughs burst on the scene very similarly to Gable and took over the world and sustained it. So, and that's something that Gable is not going to attempt to do, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the one argument with and obviously we'll see how the season plays out. The one argument a little bit against Jordan, this one would be like, these dudes, they're not even close to him at the college level, and like Hilger is a good heavyweight, Lance is a good heavyweight, and they can't even sniff a takedown.
It's
can't
crazy.
It's not even slightly competitive. Whereas Burroughs had a dominant, junior, senior year, but he had some relatively close matches. And at this point, these dudes can't stay on the mat with Gable. We'll see what happens the rest of the year.
yeah, we'll see. He had his Kirkfleet match was a decision, I think, last year, if we remember. So we'll see if he's able to do.
Did they wrestle in a duel or no?
No.
I don't think they duel.
I don't
They
think
don't.
so.
Minnesota does go to Michigan
Yeah. Let's see how that one goes. That'll be interesting to see how that one
if
goes.
he travels.
If he travels.
Have Gable will travel. Okay. So yeah, I think if Gable runs the table from here on out, I don't even think he has to wrestle in all the duels. I think he gets it, and he should get it outright. No Ty Hodges.
Don't even get me fired up about that.
What if-
Shane liked the double Hodge.
No, Shane. Don't.
No,
I will rant. I will rant.
Listen, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Here's what I would say. I like things getting celebrated, and there might be a day. I mean, one thing that I've come to, you guys, sometimes I'll switch. Like it just kind of depends on my mood. This is my final answer. there should not be a tie. There should not, unless it's a legit tie based on the voting and everything else. If it's legit, fine. But it should not have been a tie.
And they lack transparency because they said just first place votes. And it's like, well, what about? Well, I've been doing the ballot for 10 years. Why did we do second, third, and fourth place votes then? Why? I mean, listen, if you're saying you don't count them, why do you freaking make me write them down? This is stupid.
I agree. It should have been, it's obviously compared to the Heisman Trophy. There's a lot of, there are a lot of great college football players. One guy gets it. That's the way it goes.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, no, it should not have been a tie. If I ever said that, maybe I was just trying to be, because I like the fact that two guys get celebrated, but you can only have one.
If Spencer wrestled this entire year and went undefeated, but was not incredibly dominant, kind of like we saw at collegiate duels, would they split it? If Gable,
no, freaking pick one. If they split it again, I might just have to tell.
They probably do it again. Run it back.
I bet they would.
But then they should have done it with Snyder. I mean, Kyle Snyder. I mean, right? I mean, that was if you're gonna have multiple winners, Snyder should. I mean, he never won it.
I think the Nickel and Nolf or Nickel and Rutherford. I'm blanking on which one was like razor thin. Which one was it, Christian? You remember?
Nickel Nolf was close one year. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, and they were both ridiculous. They were both numbers that were equivalent to Spencer and Gable last year.
They were high, very high,
very
crazy.
High.
Yep.
How many undefeated seasons did Kyle have? 2?
I only have one, right? Or 2?
Sophomore and junior year.
Yeah, that was it.
He probably could have won it his senior year.
That's when he lost to Kuhn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kuhn beat him because Zane was great that year. He won it, I'm pretty sure, in 2018, but he wasn't like sophomore, junior bonus level. They would have had quite a conundrum if Kyle went undefeated there, because he had 18 matches, 66% bonus. So anyway,
So I mean, yes, Gable would have to. He ain't gonna lose, but he would have to have maybe a decision against Paris in the dual meet, maybe a decision against who's ever in the Big Ten finals, and then maybe the semis and finals of nationals, something like 4 decisions, and then Keegan would have to go on a streak, and even then, it's still, probably leaning towards Gable.
I think Gable gets a pass for any decisions against Paris. I mean, this is a world-class wrestler. I don't think he has to maintain 100% bonus rate. I think he can have. I bet he could have 2 or 3 decisions and still win it. Personally, a couple of interesting names on here. Sebastian at 4th, 100% bonus rate.
It's great.
Hasn't
9
faced
tech falls. He's got 9.
That's
ripping guys up. 2 more last weekend.
How disappointed were we didn't get to see that Nick Lee match? I wanted that. I mean, we said that's the biggest match of the week, and it didn't happen.
But nobody, I think what helped ease the pain is I don't think anybody expected it, right? I mean, I didn't, but
until that day, I thought it was, and then Penn State put it out that he wasn't going to be there.
Both those guys been wrestling and are not like known to sit out of big things.
But I think, I mean, guys, and this is pure speculation. My is pure 100%. He doesn't wrestle 2 weeks ago. Roman Bravo Young doesn't wrestle. My mind immediately goes to COVID, right or wrong. That's where it goes. So if that was the case, that brings you down a little bit, sucks some energy out. I don't want to come back against this. I wouldn't if I'm Kale, I'm not sending him out against Sebastian Rivera. I'm just not doing it.
He wrestled on January 7th, so it was only a week. He had wrestled the week
So he
prior.
wrestled on the Friday and didn't wrestle on the Sunday. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he wrestled Maryland.
Okay.
So I thought,
I didn't expect to see it for whatever reason. So I wasn't, I just didn't think it was going to happen. So I was like, I didn't think so anyways. I hope in the next 2 weeks is with Penn State, Iowa, Michigan. I just hope everybody's got their horses because these duels are so close that if one team doesn't have a horse, it changes the whole game. You got to have everybody there. I hope. Hope so.
Michigan's missing a couple people, according to the whiteboard war you guys sent us.
Yeah, well, I mean, they haven't had a mean since Vegas. There's no reason to expect him back. And same with Storr, who had a knee injury there.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any intel on Cam Amin?
I don't have any intel there. I know they are expecting Store back this year, and I haven't heard.
Yeah.
So we don't even know if they're expecting Amin back this year?
I know. I just hadn't talked to anyone about it.
Oh, got it.
I'm hoping Amin's ready to go. I'm hoping. Store, I'm not expecting. But Amin's that's a big piece because, I mean, I've gone over that duel 1,000 times, and the 149, 57, and 65, that's going to be big for Michigan. They got to win there.
I mean, the fact is Penn State could very reasonably win at two of their weakest weights, 49 and 65. Yeah. That makes it it's super uphill for Michigan, in my opinion. As great as they are, I think they match up terribly against Penn State. I think they're good is where Penn State's great. I think they do have the advantage of Nick at 25. I think he's a monster favorite over Hildebrandt. And I think Mason will beat Kirkfleet again. But, man, find me where are the other wins going to come from?
Well, so 25, 57, 65, I think they're favored. And then, obviously, if they could win 49 and 65.
And Madden looked good against Sasso. I mean, Madden looked good against Sasso.
So maybe he can win. Call. Massa went to overtime with Starocki, and Amin's an Olympic bronze medalist. So I think there's your other two. And Michit was an Olympic number 1 seed. So, but yes, I mean, those are tough wins.
Tough wins. So I think the path for Michigan is they've got to win 49, 57, 65. I think they have to have those. And then they win their 25 in heavyweight, and then they're in business. Then they need one upset, maybe. Maybe they need one upset, maybe not. I mean, I don't think anyone's expecting bonus from Will Luan. You want to do it?
Let's just do it since we're talking about it.
Let's get it. Okay,
let's talk about it. Be about it.
I had a shirt that says that. I don't know where it is.
That's a Shannon Turley quote. Freshman year lifting.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Starting with 125 pounds. Ben's favorite wrestler, Drew Hildebrandt, taking on Nick Suriano.
You guys are dopes. I just like order and logic, and I struggle with it without it.
It's okay.
Okay.
So the question here, I think, is probably, is this a bonus or not bonus for Nick Suriano? And I saw what he was able to do to Malik. I think it's possible he could get bonus here, but I think Drew, once it starts to unravel, his mission operational change, and he'll be like, all right, he's a smart wrestler. He knows what he's doing. I don't know if he's going to get blown out by Suriano here. So I think it's a decision for Nick.
I agree.
I'm going to go decision. We'll say 5 or 6 point decision for Nick Suriano.
Shane?
You know what? I'm just gonna kind of sit this one out, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, time out. We need a good explanation here.
I just don't make predictions on these matches. You know, I mean,
ever?
No, not really.
Well, this is on. This is really fun, Shane.
I would simply say this.
Hold on, let me help you out here. You get to make a pick. Then people get all pissed that you don't pick their dude, and then you just take it, and then you just make a pick the next week.
125, I think, for Michigan, and we talked about it before with the path. I'm really curious to see in this duel. I think the team that wins, there's a really good chance they will win by somebody in their lineup bonusing an All-American.
Okay.
And I would say this is Michigan's best opportunity for that.
Yeah, their second best would probably be heavyweight. So let's go to 33. We have Dylan Ragusin versus Roman Bravo Young. These two hit last year. Pretty dominant win, 9-2 for RBY over Ragusin. Ragusin been out and in. He looked good some. He won Vegas. He got destroyed by McGee, who RBY sort of handled this year. And I think he was back last week, right, JD?
He was, yeah. He looked really good against. I think he got bonus points against Ohio State, if I remember right. He was good.
He was off the mat for an extended period of time leading up to the Arizona State match. I think I mentioned that on the show before.
Yeah,
that had to have a pretty big impact on his performance. Okay. So I don't know the path to victory here for Ragusin, to be honest. I mean, I don't think he's be able to get to his control ties where he likes to wrestle against Roman. Roman's going to be able to neutralize that. Not sure how he can take him down or ride him. But I do think it's a decision for Penn for Roman. I don't think he's getting the bonus here.
I'm going decision Roman Bravo Young. He didn't bonus Joey Oliveira. He's not going to bonus Dylan Ragusin.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's similar to Soriano Hildebrandt.
So I looked through all this. I looked through every match. And I think what's going to be interesting here is all the answers I think are so obvious. So Friday is going to be bananas. It's not going to play out this way, but it all maps out in a way that makes perfect sense, right? But I don't know.
That's what I love about dual meet wrestling. It's like we Saturday night, Purdue, Michigan State, 5-5. Each, there are a couple of sudden victory matches. Each team got one. Comes down to total match points, and Michigan State wins it 50-49. And that is why in a match like this duel could be won on somebody being down by 8 off a 17-second restart, and you find a way to escape. Like you could be you could be the hero losing by 7.
Yeah.
Everything matters. Everything. Even to this point, guys, even to this point, I'll throw this out there. I don't expect it, but note it. First takedown of the duel is part of the tie-breaking criteria. It's like maybe 5th on the list, but it's on there. First takedown of the duel, it might be significant. Might be.
Hey Shane, we got a question in the YouTube chat. Gable Stevenson didn't do any mat returns last week. Do you not like him because you won't mat return anyone?
Yeah.
Good point.
Hey, for every debate, argument, whatever, there's always like a 3%, 3% little wiggle room in there. Yeah, Gable Stevenson's fine.
Okay.
That clinic he put on his feet over the weekend was, like you said before, Ben, Hilger's really good. And he just looks like he's just drilling.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Okay, 41, Stevan Micic versus Nick Lee.
The hors d'oeuvres are over. It's time for the meat and potatoes.
Let's go.
I go. It's Nick Lee. I mean, Micic just hasn't been as impressive at 141. He lost to Cole Matthews, competitive match against Julian Klebov. I don't think there's any logic you can use to pick him over Nick Lee right now.
Man, why do I want to pick Stevan?
Because he's really good.
But
he's really good.
I'm doing it. I'm gonna take get out there, get some elbows. He's learned from his earlier matches. He hasn't looked great. He hasn't looked like the title contender yet. This is the opportunity. Maybe a little big brother. He dominated this guy in the Indiana State Finals back in probably 2004.
Did he really? That's actually, I was thinking the one thing that could maybe hold some weight as a big brother.
Yes. I don't get too tied up in that.
It matters, man.
Does it? Okay, because I've never. So. As a big brother, maybe I should understand the importance of being the bigger brother. Yeah, I'm going for it. I think this is a classic buy low situation with Stevan. I think he's world class.
He is.
I think he can now. He's got to get off the bottom. And I think he can take down Nick Lee. I think if he has enough time on his feet, he will. But if he gives up an early takedown and 2 minutes of riding time and then he goes under and has a problem, it could unravel for sure. I'm not dismissing that. But first crack, I think Stevan can do it.
I can't find where he lost to Nick Lee in the state finals. I went back and
he beat Nick Lee.
Oh, he beat Nick
Lee. And then Nick Lee lost to
that's what I meant.
Chad
Oh,
Red.
yeah. So I'm an idiot. I looked at the wrong year. Hold on.
Chad Red beat Nick Lee one year, I believe. And this is where
that was fire.
If I could throw this in you real quick. Indiana high school state wrestling we showed this on the Big Ten Network. There are so many great Indiana. You put together an all Indiana team right now, people that wrestled high school in Indiana, I think you're looking at a top 5 team.
It is good. It is good.
Really? Is there just no depth or what?
I didn't dive too deep into that, but I mean, you look at, Hildebrandt's from Indiana, Miocic, Indiana, Red, Nick Lee, Mason Paris.
Indiana tries to claim Gable.
Yeah, yeah. He was in Portage, Indiana, and I think he moved in about 2013. I was talking with Bobby, his brother, Kemp.
2014, 10-3 over Nick Lee.
2014. Man. Holy smokes.
Kicked his butt.
Yeah.
That might be in the back of Nick Lee's mind.
Could be. He beat
Definitely
Nathan
possible.
Boston one year, Stevan. Remember that name?
What did you say?
Nathan Boston.
Nathan Boston. I
Iowa
was
State
just looking
legend.
at that result.
he was really good. So yeah, I think listen, I'm just going for it. Every now and again, there's something crazy is going to happen in this duel.
Yes. Hey, how
the
about
other
this
thing,
one?
guys, is how many people are going to be in the Chrysler? I mean, it's at Chrysler. I'm a big momentum guy. Hopefully the place is packed. They're having the maze out. If they start at 125, maybe it builds some momentum and you feed off each other. That could matter. I mean, all of it matters.
Yep.
It's if you pick Nick Lee or Stevan Miocic, either one of them, they're both capable of winning, right? I mean, nobody's going to be. I don't think anybody would be the least bit surprised, however that match goes. You got a couple of studs.
Yeah, I just think right now, the way it's trending, it is tough. I mean, if Vegas were making odds for this match, there's no way Nick Lee's not a pretty solid favorite here.
Yes.
Minus 250 or so. Okay, next one. Cole Mattin versus Bo Bartlett. Ben Askren is a Bo Bartlett hater. It is documented.
I am a Bo Bartlett realist. He is like he can't score a lot of points, and he's about an 18 to 30th ranked guy is where I kind of put him.
Yeah.
And I think both those are fair statements.
So what do you think he does against Cole Mattin here, Ben?
Probably decisions Cole Mattin. He gets a bunch of ankle rides and I don't know, probably like a 4-2 maybe. Somewhere.
So you're not entertaining an upset possibility?
A little bit, yeah, but no. I mean, Bo Bartlett, he doesn't do a lot of bad things. He just doesn't do a ton of good things either.
Wow, blasphemy! So
he actually lost to Bo Bartlett 8-4 last year. So that's that would be Bo Bartlett's highest scoring match of the year, I think.
It's a big match in this duel.
Oh no, Bo Bartlett won 12-3 against number 297 Sean Williams.
Gosh, man. JD, what are you doing here?
Bartlett by decision.
Yep.
So Madden kind of got hosed against Sasso. There was a bad call that got overturned.
Yeah, it was the right call. It was the official just called it a little quick. He called it a little bit quick.
Why did they get so antsy there? They know the rule.
Yeah, he got a little antsy. That's a good way to put it. He didn't give himself an out is what happened. Because it should have been a takedown for Mattin. And then he would have been up by, I believe he would have been up by 2. I'm not saying it would have made a difference, but I thought he looked pretty good against Sasso. I thought he looked real good.
He did. He was doing a good job. And, I'm never one to pick on the officials, so it was tough for me to even make that comment. But, I did it. But, yeah, I'm going with Bo for the decision here, but it's going to be in the margins. In that third period, Madden's going to have a shot. And that's in Chrysler. It's a big spot for Bo, who hasn't really wrestled with too many crowds yet, which is kind of crazy to think about. He did last week against Van Brill. This will be a hostile crowd. So
that's a great. I love how this duel sets up, right? I mean, majority of these matches are just, hammers on both sides, toss-up matches. I think it's going to be just a blast.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. Now, this may not be a blast. 49-57, if you got to pop some popcorn, the favorites here are guys that like to keep it real tight. Shot here, shot there, be positional. Luan versus Negron. I think this one, listen, Will's a favorite here. No doubt about it. But Negron's had moments, and if he got a takedown here, I would not be surprised. And if you get a takedown against Will Luan, you're really in the match because he only gets 1 to 2 per match in general.
I would slide in on this comment. If you had to make just base, if somebody asked me, give me one statement on this duel, here's the one I would give you. If you wanted to really oversimplify this, Michigan, if they're going to win, they need 157, right? I mean, I have a hard time believing that Michigan can win this duel without getting 157. That I would say.
Yeah. Let's not make this more, guys. Tony Negron, his dad, was tremendous. I took a phone call with him. This guy's tremendous.
What a name drop. But
Tony Negron's 1-5 this year. He ain't beating Will Lewan. Let's just call it a decision and move on.
Listen, we got to have a little more respect for the brother of our former intern, Rich.
Call it. Move on. It's a decision. You're all gonna say the decision, Luan, and then we're gonna move on.
You know what? You're almost spiting me into picking it, but I'm not gonna fall for your word.
Dude, I dare you.
Put down Will. I should. You know what, JD? I should just give a full 10-minute technical analysis of how I think this match should go. But you know what? We can move on here. Let's get to more pressing topics like Patrick Nolan versus Brady Berge.
Yeah, we need to move on from that one too.
Okay, we'll keep
Berge
that one moving. I think. Yeah, I don't know, man. How's Nolan been doing this year?
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, is this a bonus potential thing?
Brady Berge does not have a historically high bonus rate, so I'm gonna say no bonus. Okay, well let's see.
Check the stats on how
Brady Berge wrestle stat bonus rate 38%, 36%, 40%. Those are
hold on.
I think it's bonus.
Has Pat Nolan wrestled at 141? Pat Nolan is a 141 pounder.
Yes.
Yep.
No, he's not.
He wrestled Michigan State Open, 2 duels, and the Cleveland State Open at 141 pounds.
Yep,
Ben.
141.
Bumped up for the team.
He's getting bonus. He better get bonus.
He got majored by Dylan D'Amelio, 14-3.
I appreciate you guys finding this information. Let's go major decision, Brady Berge.
He was texted by Karchla.
If he wrestles 65, which I don't know, I just put him in there because he wrestled the Ohio State duel.
I think Amin's coming back for this.
Amin could be back.
100% gut feeling.
Oh man, they need him so bad.
Okay, well let's put Amin in here. How does it go if Amin's in here?
Yeah, we can't prognosticate about 41 pounders. That's just not hit 165. Yeah, so if it's Amin Berge, Amin keeps it
why
close
are we putting
too.
Amin in though?
I don't know. So we're not talking about Patrick Nolan, a 41.
Let's just move on. Let's just move. We have listen, Christian. I'm gonna do a little preview. These last 4 matches, they're really, really good.
You double parked. We got time. We can talk about this. You know, you can predict who you think's gonna wrestle. I think
I got breakfast tacos coming today.
No, do you really?
No.
I'm mad. I'm jammed up here. I don't get. Although I'll make something delicious downstairs. It's okay. I'll say Cam wrestles too, because I don't think they would use a 41 pounder if it wasn't a super short term thing. So I have no real logic other than let's go Cam, and I'll say Cam by decision.
Oh God! Well, if Cameron means wrestling and he's healthy, he's probably gonna. I would pick him by decision also, but I don't think we have much evidence of that.
Man, it's a super close match if they wrestle though. Berge is tough to score on. Berge's defense is really, really good. The idea that he could get a reattack on go behind off Cam Amin is not,
especially if he's not 100%.
Especially if he's not 100%. I think if Cam wrestles, it is totally a toss-up match. I think it's 50-50. I really do. I don't think it's I think it's a close one.
It appears that Michigan has a handful of other choices at 57 and 65 that they could put in there. Why are they putting Patrick Nolan at 141 in there?
I would assume could be COVID related, you know,
because they have probably 4 other guys who look eligible from the roster.
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume that as well.
Strange, very strange.
Okay.
Yeah. Why are we assuming? Did they put out a probables and they put out Patrick Nolan? Because like, say, Lane Van Anroy, like he's solid. Like he would do a decent job at that weight class.
Yeah. JD based it, I think, wisely off of who they sent, not who's on their roster.
Yeah.
Maybe,
And I have not. Let's see
maybe you
if they
guys
put
are
out
injured. COVID. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's look here. I don't see any probables yet. But hopefully soon.
All right, now we
We'll
can
reach
move
out to
on.
Leah Howard. She'll normally get back with us.
Leah, she's the best.
She is the best.
Yeah,
Number one.
Great.
Okay. Now, Ben, let's get to it. 174. Logan Massa, Carter Starachi. Take it away, Ben.
Well, despite the fact that they went to overtime last year and that Logan Massa looked good, I'm picking Carter Starachi.
Wow. Glad we saved some time for that analysis. Good thing. Glad we rushed.
Say what you're gonna say.
Glad we got through 65 so fast. Listen, I think Logan's gonna have a hard time taking Carter down. I think Carter's good for. I don't think Logan can turn Carter. Obviously, I don't think Carter's gonna turn him. It's a takedown battle. I think it's a one takedown match. I think Carter gets it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this question when it comes to Starachi, because I remember that duel with Michigan last year. What impressed me most about him was his ability to fight through hard positions. I mean, it just blew me away. I mean, there were 3 or 4 times in that duel with Massa last year, I thought he was dead to rights. I mean, I'm getting ready to give a takedown for Massa call, and he just, from a pure toughness standpoint, Carter Starachi. I mean, that guy is willing to fight so hard in tough spots. That's what impresses me most about him. That's a year ago. Now he's another year older, another year in that room. He might be, and I know people talk about him a lot, but he might be the best guy. He might not get enough credit, Starachi.
Yeah, I remember watching that match and thinking that was Massa's window to get a win over him.
Yeah.
Like next time around, this young guy, he's getting better and better. I don't know if you're going to get him at Big Tens or NCAAs, and kind of played out that way.
What if Massa does it for Detroit, though?
Does it for Detroit Rock City? They need him.
Yeah.
They need him.
Big match.
They need him. He didn't come back to lose to Carter Starachi. I'm sure of that. So,
and he's, a lot of confidence with that win against Ethan Smith. I think he put 8 points on the board in the third period.
Oh, yeah.
That was big. Escape, takedown, turn, built riding time. I mean, you can't finish a match much better than he did. That was a big win for him. So he's feeling good, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Carter. JD, who are you taking?
Starachi.
Sweet. What percentage chance would you give? What odds would you have to pick Logan here?
Are we talking points? Or are we talking
money line? Like minus 200.
Plus, Massa plus 250.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 250,
sounds
300.
good to me. I like that.
Starachi and Brooks have both jumped levels this year, I think, and it's shown they're putting it on dudes.
Brooks, yeah, he did have the 3-2 against Parker. That was his first match back. And Parker, I think, matches up pretty well against Aaron. Other than that, he's looked fantastic.
He just majored pause.
What'd you say?
Brooks, he just majored pause.
He majored the pause.
Was that 10-2 maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was a perfect 8-point major decision, which gave me the victory in our betting lines.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Poor JD. Okay, so now bronze medalist Miles Amin versus Aaron Brooks. Holy cow. This is the match of the weekend.
Times 2.
What'd you say?
I said this is worth the price of admission times 2.
I mean, they better wrestle. If they don't wrestle, I'm going to be so annoyed.
They're going to wrestle.
Don't you jinx us, Christian Piles.
No jinx. It's going to happen. Power of positive thinking.
There you go.
I think it's Brooks. I think Miles will have a hard time getting a takedown against Aaron Brooks.
The only thing that gives me pause is Miles somehow finds a way to win. He'll have closer matches than Brooks, but like the Romero match, for instance, how close was Romero to taking him down in overtime? But he just finds a way to win. But I agree with you. I think it's Aaron Brooks. He's looked great. I think he's jumped levels. I think he beats Amin.
One thing that I'm thinking about with Miles, one area of advantage that he could have, and it's a could, I don't know.
It's good.
But I think Brooks is supremely confident in the scrambles. But I think Miles will be too. And they could mix it up there, and maybe Miles has an advantage there. Maybe Miles can win an exchange like that. I don't see Miles necessarily getting to his single leg and having a quick finish. I think he's gonna have to win a scramble against Brooks. And you say that, you think he's got to out scramble Aaron Brooks to win, but Miles might be able to do it.
Well, that's what I'm calling for. I'm going to call Miles Amin overtime victory, 3-1.
Love it. Love it.
I think Amin. He's been in a handful of overtime matches. I mean, he's been there plenty times before. He's comfortable there. Just a warrior. I mean, he's just a warrior, Miles Amin. That is going to be a great match. That is going to be so. This is one of those duels where there's so many great matches, and if they start at 125, you want to just enjoy every match. Just soak it in, enjoy every match. It's like you don't want those. You know what I mean? As exciting as some of these upper weights are, it's like this just keeps getting better. I mean, it's dessert. This is one of those 10-course meals that you get 10 desserts. That's what this duel is.
You're gonna have a bellyache.
It's dessert after dessert after dessert.
I don't want all dessert. I'm gonna get sick of dessert after a couple of them. I want some
dessert.
I want some meat or something. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Neither one of these dudes is probably getting a clean takedown on the other one, and is going to be earned through some type of scramble, and it's going to be they're both pretty stingy. So that's why I think it's going to overtime. 3-1. Miles Amin doing it for Detroit.
For the
doing
Rock.
it for Detroit.
For Rock City. Pat Brucky versus Max Dean, former EIWA rivals, both onto Big Ten pastures. I think Max is the favorite here. I don't know. I think Max has looked vulnerable, but I don't know if Brucky has the matchup technically that gives Dean problems, unless just being a freaking huge horse, which Brucky is, can neutralize some of what Dean does. But I don't think that's it. I think some guys can scramble with Max. That's what can challenge him. I don't know if he can scramble with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see. Yeah, you're right. I don't see a path of victory for Pat Brucky. I think Max Dean's just a little bit better in most positions.
I think you need to be able to score in bunches too against Max. Like a takedown is not. He's going to figure it out unless you snake one late in the third period. It's a 1-point match and you get a takedown and ride out for 10 seconds. I think you get an early score on him. I think Max is proven to be undeterred in those kind of situations. Yeah. But Brucky's savvy. He's going to be prepared. It's going to be in the margins for sure.
It's going to be close. Yeah, I think it's going to be like a 5-3, 6-4, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Maybe you can get him tired. I don't know. Does Max Dean get tired?
I don't think so. I don't see cardio being a factor in this match at all. I think Max is a little better in the scrambles, a little better on top, a little better on bottom, and that's kind of, just you lean him by a couple points, but not by much.
Pat's got a better mustache and bicep.
Just gonna say, great mustache. Great mustache. I mean, he looks like it's JD-esque.
He looks like a state trooper, Just give him license and registration.
That's actually what he's going to do once he graduates from Michigan.
Oh, really?
No, I made that up.
Yeah, sweet. That'd be cool. All right, JD, who you got? You got Stash Bros sticking together or what?
I will defy my brother and upper lip hair and go with Max Dean.
Man, I thought that was a brotherhood, a fraternity like no other.
Disappointing.
Think again. You find out who your friends are.
I know.
That's why I'm not even going to bother with a mustache. All right, next one.
Going into heavyweight, I have it 18-9 in favor of Penn State, so locked up. But CP has a 15-12 Penn State, and Ben has a 15-12
really?
Penn State.
Who did you pick, Christian? That I didn't
Micic.
pick.
Stevan.
Micic. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Okay.
But it's interesting. I mean, I'll just Mason Paris by decision, which makes it 15-15 on my scorecard. It's going to go all the way down to most points scored within the matches. Michigan is going to win most points scored within the matches.
I think so.
Christian, you're going the same way as me?
Well, I think if it comes down to match points, I think you're probably right.
Yes, because I'm going to go. Paris is going to be about a +4 or 5. Dean's going to be about a +2. I said
JD,
a plus.
You gave Ben picking Hildebrandt for Penn State at 25. That's not who he picked.
That's not who I picked. But he also got me wrong on 33, though. You got to flip those two. He has me picking.
Hold on. We need to double check. JD did put
double check him. Let's see.
You got to check the math on this guy.
I picked Soriano. I picked RBY. Picked Nick Lee, Bo Bartlett.
I did not pick Ragusin to beat.
Wait, I also didn't pick Cam Amin. Hold on, because Cam Amin is not
I messed
wrestling.
this all up.
JD,
you're all over the freaking place.
He's having a stroke.
I've been talking to people in the chat.
Delete. All right, no, I have Penn State winning 18-12.
That's a big difference.
JD.
I'll okay. Are you fixing it now? Let's see if he gets.
I think you still have it 15-15 though, because you picked. You picked Soriano, you picked Micic, you picked Luan, you picked Cam Amin, who I don't think is wrestling. If Cam Amin was wrestling, I would pick that to be the victor, and then you picked Mason Paris. So yeah, you are 15-15.
Okay, with Mason. Holy cow! So
it's that close, guys. I mean, it's that close.
The questions you have to ask in this, we got to talk about this match. We cannot just all throw a 3 up here. This merits discussion because it was a bloodbath. I think when they wrestled in folk style, but then Greg got him in freestyle. Now, how much do we factor in the neutral battle? I don't know. I mean, obviously neutral is going to play a factor, but how much do we factor in freestyle? That's what I'm not sure of.
You guys hate factoring in freestyle.
Do you give
2 rankings,
Greg
not predictions.
any shot?
Hate it.
Do you give him any
Yes.
shot here? What percentage chance?
Oh,
Guys,
there's definitely a shot. Yeah,
I give him
Is it safe to say this? That Kirk Vlietz could be the most improved wrestler in the Big Ten amongst the really good guys? Because he's got to be. I mean, I don't know, but I will say this: coming into this Big Ten season, that's the guy that I'm most intrigued by to see how much better he's gotten because he hasn't been healthy. He was sick, I think, for a little bit. Like he is an extremely special talent, and I'm with Christian on this one. Like this match, this is not. I agree with Christian from the standpoint of this isn't just an automatic like a gimme. This is not.
Yeah, I've been saying this since preseason when I said him and Mason were on the same tier, and got laughed at and bullied into.
Let me break it down. Can I break it down for you guys? I think this is actually pretty simple here. Yes, you guys are right. It's not a gimme, but until Kirk Vliet can prove that he can get away from the elite guys on bottom, then we still all should have questions because now Slim Tone probably is not elite on top like Big Tone was, but Big Tone tummy timed him. Mason Paris tummy timed him last year. Guys who were not on that level, he got away from. Right? If they weren't really, really good on top, he got away from them. But if they were really good on top, he didn't get away.
He had a closer match with Gable than Cassiope and Mason.
Yeah, because Gable ain't gonna try to ride anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's got to get away from these elite top guys. If he can do that, yes, then he could beat everyone not named Gable.
Have we seen anything to suggest Greg Kirkfleet is better from underneath? I don't think so.
He hasn't wrestled anyone yet this year that would test him there.
We haven't seen anything that says he's the same though.
We haven't seen. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I think this
is where we find out.
This match is intriguing to see how far Kirkfleet's come.
Yeah.
I mean that's what this match is going to tell us. We're going to find out, how much better he is.
Because
Another
I
thing
mean,
you-
like, would you guys really be surprised to see him say get the first period takedown? He's winning 2-1, and then I mean, honestly, if I'm him, I'm not choosing bottom, but there's probably a chance he's going to choose bottom, and then just see Paris grind him out on top. Like that wouldn't happen? That wouldn't be that shocking. If he hasn't improved on bottom, that's what's going to happen if he gets on bottom.
So another thing we have to remember when we factor in last year, it was like he's not going to wrestle. I think they had even said he was ruled out or something.
Yeah.
He like couldn't
then they-
train beforehand at all.
He
Almost.
brought him out against Maryland late.
Maryland, and then he wrestled an extra duel against Maryland. He had 2 pins against, not relevant guys, 260 and 236. And then boom, he gets dropped into Big Tens and he ends up qualifying. So it was such a limited runway for him. It's like how close to optimized was he? We know he wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And how
I
much
wish we had
better
more
is he
answers about that, because that would give us a lot better indicator of what we saw and then what we can expect to see.
But that's why this is so intriguing. I mean, that's why, like I said before, coming into this season, the most intriguing guy for me in all the Big Ten was Kirklian. It's the most intriguing guy because we just don't know yet. But I have a feeling if I am a betting man, I think he's gotten a lot better. That's my guess, because he's finally been healthy. He just hasn't been healthy the last couple of years.
16-0 over our boy, the man, Gas Tank Gary. That's a big dub. Gary.
CKLV champ.
Year.
2 weeks later, Gary won Vegas.
Yeah.
Over a not bad field. It's not Big Ten heavyweight, but he beat some guys there.
He beat Christian
and Mason guys, I believe, and maybe you guys have this in front of you. From a bonus point victory standpoint, he's got some losses in there to Gable, but from a winning streak standpoint, it's bonus points all the time. Kills everybody.
He kills people.
Kills everybody.
Orndorff is really good, and he just
All-American.
he
Destroyed him.
destroyed him. Oh my gosh! I think, man, if it's a 3-point margin, I think we see Paris go Honey Badger and work for the.
I hope it comes down to heavyweight. If I had just one wish, I don't care how it unfolds. I hope it comes down to heavyweight. Place is going crazy. You got 2 studs coming out. Man, that'd be fantastic.
Shane, you more excited for heavyweight or 184?
I am really excited for heavyweight. I mean, because I think 184, like we talked about, you got 2. We know what we're getting from those guys. They're 2 really great competitors. Yeah. It's going to be great. But Kirklian, to me, I'm just super intrigued to see how this match goes. Because
Shade's right. This is actually more intriguing than I'm swung now. I think this is more intriguing than 184. Because of the mystery factor, the mystery man, Daniel Gregory Kirklian.
And he's in that Penn State room with those training partners and those coaches. We've seen this. We've just seen this, how this works, right? We all have read this book before. They get better. I mean, they develop.
Well, not all of them. Not all.
And most of them.
A handful of them.
No, the majority. Majority of guys.
Okay. Slight majority.
This is quite a thing. All right, Ben, why don't you elaborate?
I'm on record saying Penn State develops the best guys better than anyone. I'm on record saying that, but at that point, it has been that top echelon has went to here, right? But there have been a lot of guys who have not made a ton of progress.
Don't you think it'd be harder to do that, Ben? I mean, that's kind of the way that I look at it.
Absolutely.
You got guys that come in that are really, really good. They're able to take those guys. And again, I don't have the experience and knowledge.
I'm on record saying this for sure.
But I think that's incredible where you can take really good guys and make them. You wouldn't necessarily think there's a big margin there, and they make them significantly better. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm totally on record saying that. But then, then the other thing I say about Penn State all the time is they throw some of these dudes out in dual meets that suck so bad. And I'm like, how can you be in Penn State's room and be this terrible? And how can they not, if there's a developmental program, how can they not have a guy who can at least be, I don't know, top 25 backing people up? So I struggle with that. But yes,
it is. Yeah. Because, you watch a team it's a weird example, maybe not, a team like Lehigh, they're almost always, they have roster battles and the depth they have. NC State, It is
Nebraska, Missouri. I mean, there's a lot of even Iowa. I think Iowa's backups are doing. They're not terrible. They're solid.
Yeah, it is one thing. But listen, for the purpose of this conversation, talk about Greg Kirkfleet.
Yeah, he's elite level.
He's elite level, and he's scoring at a really high clip. So he's more likely to fall into this bucket than the underperforming, not developing bucket, right?
Yes.
You'd probably say so. Yeah.
He's certainly an uber talent. This guy got third at Olympic trials after training since basically February, and he did that at a weight where we're really good. So, man, I have to see it first. Sometimes I'm not gonna have to. I took my big swing with Stevan. That'll be my big one. But I'm woke here on Daniel, and we'll see. I'm going Mason by decision. I think it's competitive though.
Yeah,
it's a big match. This is a really big match for both these guys in this duel. This is going to be great.
Yes, completely agree. Man, I'm so fired up for
this. Is going to be a fantastic Friday night. It's going to be.
I've never been so happy to be on house arrest.
I'll be right here, watch partying it up.
Oh yeah.
Guys, remember what I said before though. Keep this in mind. Whoever wins this has somebody on their team that bonus points in All-American. That I throw that statement out there. I threw the Michigan statement out.
I disagree.
I think their path involves a win at 157. Just keep that in mind because we'll see. We'll see.
Not a single one of us. Now Shane, of course, abstained from all picks, but none of us picked bonus in any matches.
That's that's unrealistic.
Yeah, I think somebody gets bonus. I just have no clue who it's going to be. But I think that's going to be the difference.
It could be. All right.
I didn't give you guys predictions, but I see this 5-5. I can give you that.
Shane, you're a chicken.
I think Penn State is more likely to get bonus than Michigan.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Well, I don't know what
they might have. I would say this: they might have more guys that have a better opportunity. But if you were to rank them,
all right, number one most likely bonus match. Go.
33.
Soriano Hildebrand.
Birdie Berge over Pat Nolan.
Okay. Well, yeah. If we're throwing out 41 pounders, then that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who's in there. Soriano Hildebrand. I see RBY having a decent chance too. I don't think he'll get it, but I think he'll be like a 6-point margin of victory somewhere in there.
He has a better chance than Soriano, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he might.
I disagree, but
close.
What about Will Lewan? Can Will Lewan? I know he doesn't traditionally score points, but if they say Will Lewan, we need you to take this dude down 5 times. Can you take him down 5 times?
For Michigan. Do it for your home country.
Do it for your country.
He has 2 majors this year, Kyle Mosher and Charlie Derricott.
Negron has not been bonused.
I think this is a way more competitive match than you're giving it credit for. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, but I would be surprised if Will Lewan bonus Tony.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen, huh?
No. I think, you know what's a weird, maybe second or third most likely bonus one? Just because if the wheels fall off, it'll look ugly quick. It's Mason.
Yes.
Like, if he's still much better.
2 turns.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's Mason Paris is a total freak of nature.
Yeah,
Kirkfleet might be too. There's mounting evidence that he is. But he gets that elbow one good time. He gets 1 6-point dump.
Yeah.
And also,
no, you're right.
The thing is with Mason, he's not just a turner. Once he gets you there, he keeps you there until both of your shoulders are placed in such a way that the match is terminated.
Yeah.
So
he's fantastic. Yeah.
As crazy as it is, I think that's a really high probability one for bonus. I think you have to throw. And in a similar vein, and I picked the upset.
Yeah.
I think you say Nick Lee. Nick Lee's a good bonus one.
Yep.
Because if it starts to go the wrong way, it can get off the rails in a hurry. And Nick Lee's he's a honey badger with
Devon
his leg.
ever been bonus though? I mean, that's like, or
DeSanto almost teched him.
I mean, he lost by 6 to Cole Matthews.
Yeah, I mean, now sure.
And I throw out the DeSanto loss because
yeah,
that's been discussed at length. But let's look at his losses. 4-1. He had the 11-5 this year. Medical forfeits. No other losses. 13-8 to Seth Gross. 22-10 to DeSanto. 7-5 Pletcher.
Yeah. And that's what, 2 years ago, right? Or 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean, because usually when you think about someone getting bonused, there's really three methods, right? Number one, large skill discrepancy. One guy's just way better than the other guy. Number two, bottom issues. Guy's significantly worse on bottom, so he's going to get turned a whole bunch of times. And number three, gas tank issues. They get tired, and the other person racks up the points. And I just don't feel like that really fits their criteria. Whereas, like, when you brought up the Mason Paris thing, it's like, well, if there's some bottom issues there, if there's a skill discrepancy on bottom, then yeah, Mason could definitely get it done.
Let me throw this out there, guys. Maybe that I always say something that might be like, has you guys shaking your heads like, what is he talking about? But Christian brought up Kirkley before. Here's the other thing that I'm just throwing this out there. What's more important, winning this duel or collecting, like, we'll call it intel? Like, if I'm Greg Kirkley, as an example,
yeah,
maybe it's not, you want to win this match, but maybe it's more important to go on bottom of Mason Paris right now. It's just more important. Maybe.
I'm with Shane on this, Ben. You say, but I think
this is not. Yeah, you want to go on bottom. You want the feel.
What I'll say is, I do think Penn State
felt it.
Does use this kind of stuff to. Yeah, that's a good point, Ben. He has felt it, but I think the broader point of Penn State using stuff like this as intel gathering and all, not just that, but we're not deploying our NCAA finals game plan.
That's fine.
Big Tens.
Nobody does it better. Nobody does it better.
Look at Chinzo over the years. Look at what happened last year. We've seen it time and time again. They turn around these results. I mean, from Big Tens and then at NCAAs, it's a different story. The matches look completely different. I think we don't see the best Greg here, the best game plan for Greg here. Now, there may be no game plan that beats Mason for Greg this year. That could be reality too. We just don't know. So yeah, but I think Shane is sort of onto something there.
Yeah, I given what happened last year, unless he's made significant improvements in the room, which is obviously a possibility that's happened. Now, if he gets taken down, obviously he's going to be a bottom. He's going to have to deal with it, and we're going to see what happens. But, man, say it's 0-0 on second period and his choice. I guess I don't know what's happening in the room, that's a factor that I know. But if he's like, if Kale's like, hey, man, I ride this dude out sometimes, he probably shouldn't go down, guys. He probably shouldn't. If Kale's like, oh, man, this dude's getting good on bottom, I can't ride him anymore, yeah, let's go down and let's see what's happening. But, and they're going to know that. But if you lack confidence there, I'm not going bottom.
You could be right.
Now, maybe, he could defer, right? He defers. Now, maybe Mason Paris chooses down, and maybe he gets a takedown, and then Kirby gets out easy. And now, hey, you got it easy once. Let's choose bottom of the third period because we got out easy once. Okay. And now it's 3-2, and now a takedown wins at 4-3. Right. So there's multiple factors. There's multiple variables that I don't know. But I think there definitely could be good reasons to not choose bottom.
Feel you.
I want to throw this past you guys real quick with obviously Ben and JD, you guys in your wrestling division 1. Obviously with Kale, he's just so laid back. I mean, at least he appears that way. Who are coaches that stand out for you guys that were just unbelievably calming presences in the corner? And how important is that?
Depends on the wrestler. Some wrestlers want a more calm, cool head in the corner. Some need to be fired up. Some need to be slapped in the face before they go out on the mat. You know?
Who is calm? I mean,
there's not a lot. There's actually not a lot of them that are calm.
No, most of them are pretty intense. Even like, I remember one of the first times, if you know Brandon Eggum, it's like one of the nicest dudes.
Yes.
He's a wild man. I remember the South Dakota State duel. I was like, I had no idea Eggum was this demonstrative in the corner.
Yeah.
Kale does his fair share of yelling and talking to refs too.
I mean, Coach Brands, Coach Smith, they're all in the refs. They're in their guys. They're Bourmette's kind of. I mean, Tom Ryan, that guy's. They're all over the refs. They're super intense guys. Bourmette's maybe more towards the calmer side. He definitely is as like a person.
Dresser.
But,
Dresser's just right here.
Yeah,
the entire
Dresser.
time.
Nice call.
Because he lets Metcalf.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's a good question. There's not a lot. It's just a lot of high-strung, intense personalities that are screaming for various reasons.
You know, Kale picks his spots. I mean, he definitely, you know, is strong in his beliefs and understandably so. But one of my favorite things is looking at the corner when you got a battle of a match. I mean, just a battle of a match, and it's like go to Sun Victory, and Kale just kind of gives that couple of claps, a little bit of a smile on his face, and I would just think that would be so freeing. And that's just me. I mean, and I'm pretty intense, but I think there's just something. Every time he does, I'm like that. Or you get up in a big match, you get up on the big stage, he gives you a handshake and a little bit of a smile, and it's just like I just love it.
Yeah, I think the fun thing is a lifestyle, and I think it's fun for him too.
Did you guys read that recent article in I think it might have been SI about Buffalo with McDermott?
Yeah,
big Penn State wrestling guy, and wants to run the Bills like Kale. You know, a lot of things he's taken away from Kale. So let's go Buffalo Bills. I will say this, and Bradkey's going to kill me if it comes down to Buffalo and Green Day, which I hope it does. Hey, we're wrestling guys. We're loyal. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I'd love to.
Oh, Shane. Kick this dude out of Appleton, Wisconsin.
Shane.
I like the Bill. I like McDermott. I like him.
Wow.
I like him. Yep.
Shane. You're
Man.
gone.
You are not a Packers. Listen, I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it right now. Shane Sparks, you can never claim to be a Packers fan.
You can ever.
You'll never hear me say I'm a diehard Packer fan. I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback to ever play, but I'm not a diehard Packer fan.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a diehard Packer fan. I'm not. I like him, but I'm not diehard.
Okay.
Yeah, if the Packers play the Chiefs, I want the Packers. But if they play the Bills, I'd love to see the Buffalo Bills win it all. It'd be great. Not to mention, I like McDermott. That's number one. The other thing, too, is you got to remember, guys, I'm a diehard Braves fan. We had a lot of pain in the 90s. The Buffalo Bills had pain in the 90s. I'd love to see that fan base get a Super Bowl. It'd be great. And then you got a wrestling guy like
McDermott. And on top of that, you got to live in Buffalo.
Yeah, they deserve so you guys are coming around and I can see you guys are coming around a little bit on this.
Yeah, because Green Bay is just paradise compared to Buffalo.
I just thought you were a Packers fan.
All right. Let's get to some questions from friends. Ben's reading something. He didn't even hear my joke.
Are there some voicemails coming up on this show today? I thought I saw that. I love the voicemails.
That's some voicemails.
Yeah,
we are utilizing our voice messages because I really enjoy the voice messages, and I
love the voice messages. Those are great.
I like the best
long
one,
time
JD,
listener, first time caller.
It's 9:40, JD. So
tomorrow.
Why don't we get to play the best one? Whichever one you recommend.
Let's do because we'll do Pete from Central Pennsylvania because he has a PSU Michigan.
Pete from Central Pennsylvania. First time listener, long time listener, first time caller.
From Central Pennsylvania. Wish to give you a few thoughts about Iowa wrestling. Number one, Max Mirren. He's probably the most overrated lightweight wrestler in the NCAA. You can look it up and let me know. I don't think he even had an All-American beside his name. So if you're that good, how can you not have that? Also, with the Brand brothers, you have the problem with Iowa wrestling right now, with scoring points, etc. Maybe the problem might be the Brand brothers. You tried to wrestle for 6 years with them at the helm, let alone 7. Also,
did anyone screen this call?
As far as Penn State, Michigan match on Friday night, I think it's probably going to be Michigan will be lucky to have 12 points while we score 24. Thank you.
He's on the Penn State
Goodbye.
team.
That's right.
Pete from
Oh,
Central PA.
that was great. I told you guys to underutilize these things. That was
Voice messages are fantastic. They're fantastic.
Well, let's take this one thing at a time. One,
If any Iowa fans want a rebuttal, please feel free to call in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. He's got to be our correspondent. Can we get that guy as a correspondent?
That guy was raging. I wasn't ready for that. So, one, the idea that Max Murin is overrated would probably.
He's not All-American. Why isn't he an All-American?
Yeah, but look at those matches he had at the end.
If he's that good, why isn't he All-American?
But I just like who's saying that Max Murin is the second coming of anything? It's like I think everyone very well knows that Max Murin he's good, he's fine. He could place, he could not place, but no one's putting this guy, I think, in the top 4, right?
Let me throw this out there, guys, about Max Murin.
Toss it.
When you look at wrestling, I always think like you want to make it where a guy hates wrestling you. If you had a list, the top 5 guys that you would hate to wrestle, Max Murin's on the list.
Hate to watch wrestling.
He is.
He is not on that list.
He's not on my list.
Max Murin.
I'll go.
I would hate to wrestle.
AJ Ferrari, Mason Paris, Gable.
But I'm talking about. Max Murin is such a brawler. Like you might beat Max Murin, but he's one of those guys where look at his losses at NCAA's last year. I think they were a pair of 1-point losses. He was right there. I mean,
but it wasn't good guys. It was
they were good guys.
All right.
Anybody have him? Who he lost to?
Boo and Jaden
and Boo Allen.
Those are good guys.
All right.
They're all Americans.
He beat Rich Lovett.
He did beat Rich Lovett.
Max Murin is like you, Christian. You just nailed it. He's overrated compared to what? Right? I mean, Max Murin is a guy. If you told me that he got beaten around at 12, I believe you. If you told me Max Murin placed in the top 5, I believe you. But what I love about Max Murin
But if I told you Max Murin made the finals, would you believe me then?
I'd be surprised if he made the finals a little bit. But Max Murin is one of those guys that shows up and he just battles so hard. You talk about guys that wrestle 7 minutes. Max Murin never takes a second off. He never takes a second off. And for that reason, he's one of those guys where if you wrestle him, it's like, oh, here we go again. Like this guy's going to fight me so hard on every single position. He would not be fun to wrestle. No way.
I agree with that. I agree he would be not fun to wrestle.
He would not be fun.
I think his teammate, Austin DeSanto, Pete DeSanto, is even less fun to wrestle. Though he may just terminate me quicker. I'm trying to think of the other least fun guys to wrestle. Like Yanni just looks I'd get destroyed and
yeah, that's a good point. He just slicked you to death.
Yeah,
but by least fun and most fun, aren't we talking about like? I mean, if you get your ass kicked, it doesn't matter if he like put you really nicely in a cradle. You still got your ass kicked.
Yeah,
no. I'm not accepting this. Listen, if you get rolled to your back and tilt and rolled to your back, like, well, yeah, Spencer's going to terminate you easy. That doesn't mean it's fun. Everything's against your will.
Okay. Yeah, but I think some of that is, it's just, there's just such a difference in talent level, right? I mean,
skill.
Yeah, in skill level. So I still have Max Murin on my team of least guys Max Murin, his face is always mangled. You know what I love about Max Murin? I'll give you this about Max Murin.
You already told us 6 things you love about Max Murin.
I'll give you another thing about him that I love.
He's a snake
Max
owner.
Murin, every time he toes the line, and I'm not saying he's the only guy like this. I think Max Murin, 100% of his being, regardless of who he wrestles, I think he plans on winning. 100% of the time. I've seen Max Murin lose to guys that, quite frankly, like going into the match, it's like he's probably up against it a little bit, and he'll lose, and he's just like infuriated in disbelief that he can't believe that he lost. I love Max Murin's mentality. I just love his mentality.
Apparently so.
Wow. We did not know. We
can eliminate one person. We know Shane was not the person that submitted that voicemail.
And that was a clear Central Pennsylvania accent there, Christian. I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah.
Subtle, but it was there.
Maybe he his son wrestled Max Meehan in high
guys,
school or something.
Guys, you
That's
guys did not give me this because you guys probably talked about this in the show yesterday. I just want to give a nice. It was a nice win from Patrick Glory.
Yes.
Oh, he loves.
Yes, it
Make
was.
sure I mentioned that.
He loves Patrick Glory. We'll
Very
see.
talented. He's very good.
He's very good.
Very good.
He's got
You
Vito
have
on
a
February
NBA
5th.
game to beat him.
February 5th versus Vito. He got a little tie though. Your guy got a little tired. What do you think
That's
about
okay. I think it always. I was just talking about this with somebody last week. It blows me away how some of these guys get done wrestling and they don't score many points and they run off the mat. Like, where's the? How do you have the energy to do that? I love seeing guys. If you play it right, I think in the final minute of a wrestling match, you ought to be about gassed, right? Like you should. If you do it right by the end of that match, you ought to be about done. It's just
I
me.
agree. Okay, we're gonna
If
go.
you want to
Thank
call
you,
in,
Shane. This was
the number
awesome.
515-509-5071, 515-509-5071.
All toll free today. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Last show of the week. We'll do a full weekend preview. We already hit Michigan, Penn State. We'll probably touch on it again because why not? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tons of content about Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, all the stuff. Check out the website. JD is dabbing. He's trying to bring back this fad. My son Caleb told me the dab is out. The dab has been retired. JD's going to bring it back.
Nope,
We'll see.
never left.
Thanks, guys. See ya.